Hey, I'm Decathlon Gamer, and this is the Road to the Record weekly review special for week 2 in the third year of the Gaming Decathlon competition. This week, I brought in a new record, 3,567 points, beating last week's record score of 3,281. Current virtual best is not actually that much higher. It's less than 600 points ahead at 4,157. And the all-time virtual best rising this week to 6,434. Looking at the 10 games individually, PCM 19 in the career mode, a 20-point increase from a week ago, now at 468, approaching that fun 500 mark. It would be my first career mode series to see 500. In the Pro Cyclist mode, the Stage Racer, just the second week since starting a new season, and we just keep bringing in points. It's amazing what we've done. 215, not as good as the first week. Couple setbacks, weird anomalies that kind of got in the way. We had a race that we should have won, but the team had one rider too few in the time trial, and we received a 5-minute penalty for having one rider less. I thought having one rider less was already punishment. We have fewer riders to keep the pace, but we would have won otherwise. We at least got a stage win and a couple podiums. In the Classics rider, we ended the season solidly. It was much improved at the end of the season. Some attribute increases have helped. Really happy to move on from the team. We end up with 329 points at the end of that, and that's not that bad. That's okay. But here's the thing on that series. I think I'm done. I think I decided I'm going to let that series go. Here's the thing. Here's the reasoning. And you can let me know in the comments if you object, especially if you strongly object. Please do, because I'm not 100% convinced that I'm ready to let it go. For one thing, I love PCM, so there's that. But here's kind of the main reasoning, the thought process behind this. I have 4 PCM series that are active. That's 40% of what I'm doing on the channel. Now, it might be the core of the channel, but dropping one of 4 series, I don't think that's going to hurt that core. The viewers are all overlapping. I don't think that series has any viewers that aren't watching at least one of the other 3 PCM series. Meaning it's not bringing any new subscribers, it's not bringing any new viewers to the channel, and of those 4 series, it's the least watched. It's also been the one that's been the most frustrating. It's a different playstyle than what I'm used to. And there just isn't as much there other than, like, say, Paris-Roubaix, which I love. But outside of a handful of races throughout the entire year, there's not as much to do. And I don't know. That's kind of where I'm at. I already added an 11th series in my FM20 challenge, which I love, by the way. It does take a bit of time to record, but I would expect, as long as there is some viewership for that, which that still needs some help and assistance. Even the first video's still under 50, I think, on total views. It's hard with a game that didn't just release to get the numbers, and my original FM20 series, again, is not doing terribly well itself, and it's probably only going to last the one season, which is a real shame, because FM18, FM19 were the closest thing to a core as PCM has been on this channel. So to suddenly have a break, I took about 6 months off from FM19 to where we're at now for FM20. Suddenly, whatever viewership I had that was part of my original core to the channel hasn't returned for that, and that's unfortunate. But maybe they'll come back, and I certainly hope that series can bring in some more views in time. So even if you're not an FM20 fan, a quick view of the first episode of that and a click on that like button, even if you're only there for a minute or so, if it's not your thing, even that could actually help that series take off and get started. I really love the premise of what I'm trying to do there. Take the worst team ever all the way down in the 10th tier and see if we can win the Champions League. The worst team ever literally won in every attribute and the reputation, coach included, but perfect facilities. So that's the one thing. Perfect facilities. Worst team ever with perfect facilities. What happens with that combination? Well, it's looked good it's looked good so far. I'm a couple seasons in. I won't give away more detail than that right now, as I'm hoping that there might be a new viewer or two out there in this episode today, this weekly review. Moving on, though. Motorsport Manager, good result this week. 14 points. We finished in 6th place in that last race for Verstappen. It was a heck of a race. Crazy, back and forth. Bold strategy, didn't pay off and then did pay off at the end. It was crazy. Rebel Inc., another 10 points, moving up. I'm just about ready. Two episodes from now, we're going to go back to Brutal. So, getting close. I won't stay necessarily on Brutal. I'll kind of mix it up depending on which map we're on. But ready to dive back in. Transport Fever 2, still at 320. Didn't change the score this week. But I could already tell you that next week we're going to start focusing in on achievements, and that's where those points come from, are through achievements. So I'm going to start targeting some specific achievements as we kind of wrap up our second map. We're getting close to that point now, even though it's still, we're only just into the 20th century. Draft Day Sports Pro Basketball 2020, we ended our second season this week in a bit of a surprise fashion. For one thing, kind of ran into a little bug, bounced back, and it ended up putting us in the 4th seed. So we ended up with home court advantage, and half the team was injured. Quite literally, we had 6 injuries. That just destroyed our playoff hopes, and we washed out very quickly. But it was a big step. We moved from 8th seed to 4th seed. And we head into the off-season with some nerves, though. But it was a good season. Just wish we could have been healthy for the playoffs. PCM 18 career mode, closing in on that 439, but also closing in on that end of the season. So, give or take, we might be just above, we might be just below that 439 score that we had last season. But then that series will be coming to an end in the near future, so I might be down to 2 PCM series. That's where, again, leave your disgust in the comments below if you think that's too much to let go. I still have 4 days a week of PCM 19 with career mode stage racer. Is that going to be enough for the diehard viewers that's what you're here for? Automation Empire, that's another one where I expect to see that score explode here in the coming weeks. It's kind of stalled of late. It hasn't gone up much, but that's because I've focused on preparing some late game things. And then this week we refocused our efforts into a huge increase in research, and the score is research based. So as we rack up research points, we're going to start ticking off a lot of research upgrades, and that's going to accumulate a lot of points as we move into the final stages of the game. Football Manager 2020, just 10 points this week, but it was also, we only moved forward 2 games on the calendar, but it was FA Cup and January transfer window closing, so shorter time window passed, but we still managed to get through another round of the FA Cup. That's where those 10 points came from for moving on. Nothing in the league happening. But again, the overall, a near 300-point jump from a week ago and a new best round. And when you look at it, we've almost matched what we scored this week with our current virtual best. So the record score of the 10 games that are up there right now, 7 of them had or matched their best score this week. One of them, PCM 18 Career Mode, close to its best score. Another one, the Stage Racer, even though it's only a couple weeks into the season, has already gotten nearly half of the points that it needed. And even though Motorsport Manager is still nowhere near the 305 record that was set forever ago, in fact, I think Motorsport Manager was in the top 10 virtual best at one point a long time ago. The 58 points is still a big step in the right direction. I mean, how long were we on 0? How long were we under 10? 58's something. Still not 100, but it's something. So as for that, that virtual best and where we're at right now, we're less than 600 points off of matching that. That's good for our scoring. On the virtual best side, we pushed a 4th game into the virtual best top 10. We were just at 1 just a little bit ago, but now we see a bunch of games emerging, kind of joining the scores, and we're going to see a real bump to that scoreline, I think, here real soon. And we might see everything be 500 or above, and that's a good landmark for us. It doesn't mean anything, but to have everything at 500 or above at least suggests that we've made some progress, right? We've, in terms of mastering the game, being halfway there on 10 games, I don't know, that says something, right? It was PCM 19 Career Mode that cracked the top 10. 2 weeks ago, I think it was 15th. Last week, it was 10th. This week, it makes it into the top 10 by 2 points, and it knocks out FM19 permanently from the list, which FM19, I think, just 4, 5, 6 weeks ago was about 7th. So you can definitely see the progress that we're making within scores. Rebel Inc.'s almost 700, so that's also, that's something. Now, the games that are on the outside looking in, we've stretched now a little bit, right? Where we've pushed things down. 18 Career Mode still in 14th, but now is the game that's closest. And we're not going to see a big jump in score. So if it's 30 points away from getting into the top 10, it might not make that. Or if it does, it's going to just crack the top 10 before that series ends. But at least the 19 Career Mode's there. I mean, it's already outscored it. That's pretty awesome. And we had our signing period this week. I think we're finally headed to the World Tour. Okay, so Automation Empire, right? I was just saying when we went through that, I think that score is about to explode. So it's 17th. It didn't move a spot. It just moved up a spot on, 3 games are on the outside looking in. I think we're about to accumulate a lot of points there because research is going to come rolling in. So if that's the case, it's roughly 100 points away from making a dent into that top 10 list. I don't think that's too much to ask for. I think we're going to have points coming. So that one should make a pretty significant jump in the near future. The game that moves into that list, and actually also moved up the list from where it was, is the Classics Rider. The Classics Rider, the one that I was just saying might be done. That not really being the point here, though, it did move up a few spots. So the 311 to 329, but the season just ended. The series might be done. Even if it's not, I think we're looking at it being a long, hard road to beat that score. So I don't know. Without looking at the list, I don't even know what's behind it. I don't know what the fourth game is, but I would definitely expect Automation Empire or whatever that fourth game is to crack the top 10 before the 18 career mode or Classic Strider. Though, like I said, the career mode, right, it's only 30 points off. It could crack the top 10 barely and then be done. So I guess I wouldn't rule that out. It's just not going to make a lot of headway. But I do suspect that we are close to the entire top 10 being at a 500 or above. So I think we're getting awfully close to that. That's going to do it for this review special. Thanks for tuning in. And like I said, feel free to leave some hate if you think dropping the Classics Rider series is a bit much. Whether you think I should hang on to it. I've already cut it down to 1 day. I cut the 18 career mode down to 1 day when 19 career mode when PCM 19 came out. And so I'm already down to 6 days of content. And it looks like we could be on our way to 4 days of PCM content. So, yeah. Am I cutting that down too much? Otherwise, I don't know what to take out. I mean, Automation Empire is going to end soon. PCM 18 career mode is going to end soon. But neither of them are ending soon enough. I don't know how much longer I'm going to go on with Rebel Inc., but it's popular, so for me it hasn't been the most fun to play. It's a little frustrating at times. But if it's popular, you deal. So I don't know what to take out. Anyway, I'm Decathlon Gamer. Thanks for tuning in, and I'll see you next week. Have a great one. Bye for now.